Nationals outside of Denver at the newly refurbished Vandermeer Speedway. I'm Gary Gerald with Don Garlitz and Steve Evans, who's with Dick LaHaye.
What was the deal on the starting line? You pulled over to the side like you were going to throw in the towel for a second.
Well, I was going to, because when you have all the fuel turned on, when I started to stop, it felt like it wasn't running on only about 4 cylinders, and I thought that we'd broke the thing. So I just pulled it over to the side, pulled the fuel shut-off back, and made it run on all the cylinders, and I realized it was okay, and I decided I better go race him.
One last question. How do you feel?
I feel great. A little stiff here and there, but I'm okay.
You wearing a brace under the uniform shirt?
Very much so, yes.
Dick LaHaye, what a great job. Kim LaHaye gets some credit for this one, I'll tell you right now.
And again, the brace refers to the broken rib that was re-injured in the last event at the Summer Nationals outside of Englishtown, New Jersey. Ready now for a second-round matchup between Gary Ormsby, the season points leader in Top Fuel, against veteran Eddie Hill. Burnouts complete. Ormsby working from the far lane has lane choice.
Eddie Hill is the quickest and fastest drag racer in the world at 4.93 seconds, 291 miles per hour, and a lot of that power comes from this spirited gentleman, the crew chief Buzzy Carter. Now, Gary Ormsby knows that Eddie Hill, with those numbers, can fire a shot at you anytime. Maybe not every time, but it only takes once, Don Garlitz. Lee Beers, the crew chief, knows that. He's a man that goes for consistency.
Yeah, they try to conserve their parts and go the whole distance. But a guy coming along will take a shot at him, and he'll give it everything he's got, and Hill is subject to doing just that right now.
Now, Gary Ormsby, Don Garlitz, is staging very shallow, the conventional way. Eddie Hill has moved way forward in the beam.
He better be careful, those small wheels. He's subject to a red light.
Even though Eddie Hill overstaged and got a bit of a hole shot, it is Ormsby running away from the Texan. 527, 270 miles per hour, the second time Ormsby has topped 270. Don Garlitz is with Lee Beard.
Nice and steady, Lee.
We come in here with a pretty good game plan, and everything seems to be going real well for us. There is a little extra pressure on me. This is kind of my hometown. I grew up in this area. My family's here watching for me, so it feels great to put in a good show in front of them.
Yeah, I saw your dad earlier.
Thank you, Don.
So Gary Ormsby wins one in impressive style over Eddie Hill. He advances to the semifinal round, and we get set for our next pair. It'll be Dennis Forcell on the near lane going against Joe Amato. Amato has lane choice.
And Amato is the defending Winston Top Fuel champion. And Don Garlitz, you more than anybody else know how difficult it is to defend that Top Fuel title once you get it.
Oh, it's really tough because the guys, they come at you with a vengeance. They don't want you to win it 2 years in a row.
Well, Amato currently 4 in points. He'd like to do what you did, Big, in 85-86. Steve?
Well, when you see a driver like Eddie Hill intentionally deep stage, even with the little front wheels, Gary Ormsby, you know they're doing everything they can to leave with this car. They're a little bit afraid of it.
Well, it's kind of worked in our advantage a little bit so far this season. We just hope it continues that way.
Would you like a 527? That's what you got, like it or not.
Yeah, we felt that's about, we wanted to duplicate what we did last time, and that's pretty close to what it ran the last run.
Great job.
Thank you, Steve.
So what has been a great season for Gary Ormsby continues on a positive note. Tim Richards, crew chief for Joe Amato, backing his machine now into the proper spot after the burnout as he gets ready for his run against Forcell.
Joe Amato loves this mountain. He won the last Mile High Nationals here at Vandermeer, along with his crew chief, Tim Richards, who has come up with some interesting twists the last couple of races. They'll be meeting a man from Minneapolis, Dennis Forcell. More importantly, though, his crew chief, Larry Frazier, much like Lee Beard, grew up and began racing right here at Vandermeer Speedway. They know the altitude. Don, why has Joe Amato gone back to last year's car?
Well, Tim Richards told me that they wanted the shorter car that didn't load the rear tires quite as much because they don't have the horsepower up on this mountain, and that allows the car to work better and freeze that engine up.
Dennis Forcell, Joe Amato, they leave right together. Forcell a little out of the groove. Joe Amato powers through with a brilliant 528, 264 miles per hour to Dennis Forcell's losing 541. Let's go to Don Garlitz and meet the winning crew chief.
Well, 28, you happy with that?
Oh, yeah, we're plenty happy with that. That's our tune-up run for the next round, really. We figured the third round would be LaHaye. That's a tough run any day.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Well, obviously happy Tim Richards going down to congratulate Joe Amato as we get set for our next second-round pairing. Lori Johns going against the veteran from Texas, Gene Snow. And that's Johns, the young Texan herself, with a burnout.
Lori Johns, who's been running well, has got her hands full this time. Gene Snow is running strong this weekend.
And Snow has the lane choice. Meanwhile, at the far end, Steve Now is alongside Joe Amato.
You know, my vantage point down here is looking straight up the racetrack. The cars look like they go very straight here.
Well, they do as long as you stay in the groove. When you get out in the middle, sometimes you get off that pad, there's a little bounce there. If it starts the car moving around, it'll drive out of the pad, but it was pretty straight.
With the altitude tempering the horsepower, does that make it maybe a bit easier to drive?
Well, you used to driving the cars at 5.0, and we're up here going 5.20s and 30s, so it's like a Sunday ride going to church.
Joe Amato, semi-final bound.
Having fun now.
And Amato makes it sound oh so easy. He joins Ormsby and LaHaye already in the semifinals. Gene Snow, top qualifier for the first time this year in Top Fuel with a 5:20, has the lane choice. He is back now into position as he gets set for this run against Lori Johns, who's been one of the surprises of this Top Fuel NHRA season.
And Gene's performance continued in the first round earlier when he pounded Texan Frank Cook with a 5:27. Chris Eckert is the crew chief for Gene Snow. Now, for Lori Johns, if she should win here, she may have to give some of that credit, a bit of it, to Gene Snow himself, because her crew chief was formerly employed by the Snowman and picked up a lot of technology while he was on the job.
Pretty impressive numbers when you consider the altitude. 5:28 qualifying time for Johns to Snow's 5:20.
And Lori Johns continues her deep stage technique, Don.
But that's okay. She's got the large diameter wheels.
That's right. She has more rollout out of the beam. Gene Snow overpowers the far lane. Tried to get back into it again. Blazed the tires. Lori Johns' crew hooping and hollering. And well, they should. A 5:35, 258 miles per hour sends them to the semifinal round. Don Garlitz is at the starting line with Larry Meyer.
Well, semifinal. Not bad, huh? We dropped a cylinder and broke an intake rocker on that first run. That's why it fell off to 51. We just hopped it up a little bit, but it looked like it dropped that cylinder down the other end again, didn't it?
It looked like it was shooting some fuel out.
Yeah, we'll have to hop her up some more, I guess.
Satisfaction well deserved for Larry Meyer and the crew as Lori Johns once again proves that she is definitely a top fuel factor.
We can see Gene Snow take a definite starting line advantage, but that 520 horsepower up on this mountain proved a little bit too much for that far lane. And Gene's hope for a win here at the Mile High goes up in smoke.
So let's check the pairings now for the Top Fuel semifinal round. We've got Ormsby against Johns. Ormsby has lane choice by the quicker ET. The second pair, Amato and LaHaye, and it'll be Joe Amato with a lane choice. Lori Johns now with Steve Evans.
Lori Johns, for the third time this season, shakes that blonde hair, headed for the semifinal round. Of 5:35, though.
It's almost starting to be like a dream come true, isn't it? Yeah. I never would have thought it. Not the Snowman. I really thought he had it down this weekend. But if I don't get a chance, Steve, I want to say get well to Don Gay Jr., because I went and saw him last night, and he had a real bad crash out here, as you know, and he's going to be all right, but I hope you come back, Donnie.
We all share those sentiments. Now you've got to find some more power. You will not have lane choice against Gary Ormsby.
No, you know, every time I get to the semis, this man comes up and beats me. Gary Ormsby, it's like a big mark on my forehead. I wish I could race somebody else in the semis, but they're all tough. So we'll see how we do.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And if Lori Johns can get by Gary Ormsby, she would be in the finals for the first time in her NHRA career. In the pit area, Mike Dunn's crew, led by crew chief Gary Slusser, getting ready to face Kenny Bernstein. Funny car competition coming up.